What's up, Grace Girls? Welcome to the Allow Yourself Grace podcast, where we focus on helping Black women change their lives by discarding negative thoughts, pivoting in the right direction, and shifting their mindset through cultivating a trauma free lifestyle. I'm your host, Courtney Kristen, educator, content creator, life coach, counselor, and mental health enthusiast living in Houston, Texas. I created the Allow Yourself Grace podcast because I wanted to create a space for Black women to share their thoughts, feelings, and stories that make them who they are without fear of judgment. Allow Yourself Grace provides emotional support and encouragement within the Grace Girls community for women in need of non biased opinions from women other than family and friends. Personal development, self care, career, faith are among many of the topics we will discuss on this platform. Allow Yourself Grace podcast is here to encourage Black women to live unapologetically and thrive in being authentically who they are and were designed to be, an entire vibe. No topics are off limits. We will cover it all. Now, grab a notebook, pen, sit back, and enjoy the show. All right. What's up? What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Allow Yourself Grace podcast. Super excited to have you guys back. I have another guest in the house. Y'all, I'm so excited. I've been following this guest on Instagram for a little bit. She's amazing. She's doing a lot of great things. I'm going to let her introduce herself as I always do because we want to hear all the credentials. Welcome.
Thank you. So I am Holly Cotton, and I am a nurse, author, life coach, speaker, media personality, mom, all that great stuff. So that's me in a nutshell.
Awesome. So tell us where you're from.
So I'm originally from Louisiana. I'm from a city called Houma, which is about 30 miles south of New Orleans.
Okay.
And just country girl. And I moved from Houma at 17, went to LSU on a scholarship because I'm smart too. And then after that, after college, I moved to DC for a few years, and then I've been in Houston for almost 20 years now.
Awesome. So as y'all can see, Miss Holly here is into fitness. So that's kind of how I found her on Instagram, is because, you're always looking for people like, okay, I need to follow some of their workouts. I need to see what they're doing. So that's kind of how I stumbled up on her. But as you can see from what she said, there's so many other aspects and things to her as a person. And so I love that. And she's all about empowering women. So I want to talk about your new book that you have out, Somebody's Wife or Not. Can you kind of tell us how you came up with that title first off?
Yeah, I would love to. So my whole everything that I'm doing in about empowering people and all of that is about hold on. I'm trying to do not disturb. Okay, thank you. I hate when you turn it off on your phone and it's still every other thing. Dang that. So everywhere I looked when I'm talking about self-love, empowering people, it's always this push to be married, be someone's wife, do this, how to get the man, how to catch the whatever, how to whatever, like Steve Harvey's book, think like a man. So there's so many things that are telling people how to get a partner. And what it does is it puts these unrealistic expectations. Yes. It causes people to stay in situations longer than they should. And it causes people to settle. You start getting lonely. So now you're making decisions based off of emotions. And I was like, you know what? Okay. I've done the first book. I've done the second book, How to Do Your Goal. Like, I was like, this time I want to come out because no one is there talking to the people who you can't get someone, you can't find someone. Someone recently was they were widowed. Their spouse just died on them, and now they're back in the single world. So it doesn't matter how you get to single life because you sometimes don't have a control over it, but there's no resources for those people. So that's why I was like, you know what? I'm going to write a book about self-love, about healing, because I was married for 17 years also. And so I know, I've been a wife. I've done that. I've been in the relationship. I have that experience. And then when I was single, I was like, wow, like everybody's like, well, when you gonna get married again, or what you gonna, and it's like so many questions about that.
All the questions no one wants to answer.
Yes. And I'm like, listen, not everyone wants to be somebody's wife, because of course there's Dear Future Wifey, there's all these other podcasts about getting it. And again, I wanted to write a book about self-love because of course, if there wasn't the desire to have companionship, there wouldn't be 1,000 resources about it. So of course, everybody wants to have someone. Let's be realistic. Being single, you got needs, you're lonely, so there wouldn't be all of these toxic and negative behaviors if it wasn't a reality. So, but while you're in the single chapter, I wanted to have resources for people about how do you do that? How do you take a step one? How do you find the time to do that? So that's kind of like what my book is. It's about discovering self-love in single life.
Yeah, I think that's so great because, like you said, a lot of people stay in relationships because they don't feel like they love themselves. They want to feel like somebody's there for them, or they just want to have that person. Like, we all know those people that are in relationships and you're like, why are you still there?
I know, girl, read the book. Read the book. I have some real life examples in it too. So it's funny because I have my friends are like, "Oh my God, you didn't put me." I was like, "No, no one's gonna know.
Put your business.
Yeah, no one's gonna know it was you." But I did want to also, because I hate whenever I'm reading a self-help book and it's just like, you got to do this, you got to do this.
Just steps.
Yes, and I'm like, okay, but what is that? So I like. In my book, of course, I wrote it, so I'm biased, but I like that I have like real life things. I talk about like, okay, so let me give you a picture it,
It makes it more interesting and more relatable.
Yeah. And then now I can hit you with the moral of the story rather than, just barking out, love yourself. Focus on, no. I'm like, girl, let me tell you what had happened was, and I have men and women in the story. So whether you're a man or a woman, I wanted my book to be able to go to both too, because men, y'all out here struggling too.
Oh, the men are struggling. I just told my husband yesterday, we had a conversation with some guys that were here. They were recording their podcast and they talked about relationships. They're young, they're like 23. So I thought their conversation was hilarious. But one of the things I got from the conversation is that men are very emotional. Like they're actually, they say we're emotional, but they're pretty like, they hold on to stuff.
Yes.
And so I think they want that affirmation from women, like, hey, you look good. Hey, they want it. They don't say it, but they want it too. And so I think that's awesome that.
Well, and that's what I also like. I have a little part in one of my chapters, and I talk about submission, and because that's a big thing for people, and they're like, well, I want the person to submit, and it's different for men and it's different for women.
Right.
But I have in there, whenever you're talking about when you're not going to do something, you have to look at what it is, that the reasons why you're not going to do it. And a lot of times you're like the men will say, well, I'm never going to take care of a woman again, or I'm not giving a woman no money, or I'm not doing this. But what happened is, what is the behavior? It's because you had a situation where someone didn't appreciate what you did.
Yes.
So it made you feel used. So now you're taking that toxic behavior into your next companionship. We don't even get to relationship or like companionship. And now you're like, well, I'm not taking care of a woman or a woman. Well, I'm not going to be with a man that doesn't do this or is not a gentleman or whatever. But what is it that we're really talking about? Because when you were with someone and they didn't open the door for you, or they didn't do it, you felt like you weren't protected, or maybe you didn't feel respected. So there's all these things that you have to look at, what makes you have these, I'm not doing this anymore. And men are big on that. Like, well, no, what's really the reason why? Because someone made you feel that way, but not everyone's going to make you feel that way.
That is so true. And I think taking that time during your singleness to do it is what this book is about. Like, it teaches you how to do that from what I'm getting from her. And it's just like, people don't take those moments. It's like you have the people who jump from relationship to relationship. you know, it's like, dang, did you even like
heal?
Figure out what happened in the last one?
I have some life examples in here about it, because even me, I got like divorced at the same time as a girlfriend, and it was like 6 months later, she was already moving some guy in, and I started looking at myself like, well, dang, what am I doing wrong? Like, should I be? But then I realized that for me, I wanted to heal, because I admit, as this healing person, because you're never really healed, it's a day-to-day process. Some days you feel healed, some days you feel still messed up. So when I was going through that, I was like, I like the healing me, and I like taking that time, because I was like, wow, I really didn't do certain things in my marriage that I should have, or there were triggers that happened that made me shut down, or there were things I felt lonely.
But you hear the word I when you speak. I hear you say I. That's the problem, though. People don't take accountability.
Right.
So I think that accountability piece is missing. It's because we want to play the blame game.
Oh, I blame you. Oh, I still blame you. But
it's still your,
you know,
there's some things that, you know,
I could have done differently had you acted right. No.
Right. You got your shit together.
Then I would have acted right. No, but I do know there were certain things that where I probably wasn't the best person, and you know, I mean, we all have little things.
Right. No, we do.
Yeah, especially being a strong woman, and again, it's those behaviors, because what happens is we have to adapt to whatever situation we're in. So if that's a marriage where you're constantly feeling like you're on the defense, now all of a sudden I have to start having this shield up, because you're going to hurt me if I don't do this, or if I allow myself to be vulnerable. So now I can't be the person that I am now, because you know,
no, that's true. No, definitely true. And I love the relationship topics. The ladies always love when we talk about relationships. But if you don't mind me asking, what do you think was the final piece to you saying, I'm done with the 17-year marriage?
So I always tell people I had the longest breakup ever. Like we literally like broke up for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Not long, but I'm just saying it was, you know, we broke up, and then you feel that loss. So then you think you can get back together, and then you realize that, no, I was just horny, or I just was lonely, or whatever. And then you know that, you know, whatever, because we had a great sex life when we had sex. So of course, you know, it's like easier to go back to that
what you're comfortable with.
So it's easier to go back than to just, you know, keep going and finding new people, and then sometimes it's not even worth it. And you're like, you know what, I could have
wasted my time.
I could have just went back with him. So I think it's just that process. And I got to the point where I started realizing, because 2018 is when I wrote my first book. And I remember, you know, even going back and forth with him and still having communication, and, you know, him feeling like me writing a book was taking time from him, or attention from him. And I just got to that point. I was like, you know what? I meant to do something great in life, and I cannot be with someone who doesn't support me. And
somebody's wife or not.
And I made the decision, and I wrote my first book, Strong More Than Muscles, and it got like it was a bestseller. It's, you know, doing all of this.
I love it.
And I was like, had I stayed in that relationship where I wasn't being nurtured and allowed to grow, I would have stayed. You know, it's almost like the koi fish. You put it in a little fish tank, it stays small, but you put them in the actual koi pond, they're like huge. So that's where I am. I'm a koi, and I'm growing.
That was a great analogy. I love that. No, that's something that women need to hear, is that, you know, if you're somewhere that you're not growing, and you're somewhere where someone can't support your dreams just like you're supporting theirs, then it's probably not a good fit, because you're never going to live up to your full potential. And I think that's part of empowering women to be the best version of themselves. I think the most secure man is the man who can handle me being bigger than him.
Exactly.
If that's the case. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he knows I have that much potential.
Oh, and let me tell you, let me get comfortable. So I get asked about that all the time. I literally just got, someone sent me a message on Instagram. It was like this long.
Oh, wow.
So talking about on the phone, you know how long it is. And he had this whole paragraph, and he was like, so as a woman doing the things you're doing, a lot of men will find you intimidating.
Come on, here we go. I hear this a lot. I'm listening.
And so a lot of men may find you intimidating. And are you willing to be with someone who's not giving, or who is not performing at 200% like you? And my answer is no.
No,
I'm not. Because I literally, in 3 years, went from just being a regular nurse to growing a brand to doing all of this. How are you not capable of it? So for me to be compatible, and the people that I have right now that I am dating are all high achievers. They're very supportive. They push me to do more because I'm like, wow, whatever. Yeah. So I'm like, no, I'm not. I can't just be with someone who's not. And again, I don't care what your career is. I need your grind to match my grind. Come on. Why is it that you're sending me messages that I'm not, you haven't talked to me all day? Why are you why do you have so much downtime?
Why you got so much time?
That's what I'm saying. How are you? Like, I don't have a problem checking in. Hey, how you doing? Text me a heart, do whatever. I'm thinking of you. Hey, boo, miss you. But as far as to be able to sit around and sit on the phone for hours a day, I don't, and I'm not. So, let's be real here. You can't get a quality and you're not quality. Come on now.
I love it. I have a single friend and that was one of her issues. So she's on these online dating platforms and the guy's like, you're not texting me back. You're not like, aren't you doing something?
That's what I'm like. I'm busy, bro. I'm busy. Like, why are you not busy?
Right. Why aren't you busy? Like, come on, single people.
And people always think that you're lonely because having standards means that you are like you're desperate to date because of whatever, and I'm like, let me get y'all straight. First of all, every woman has options. It just depends on what you want to have. Are you settling? Whatever. Don't get it twisted. Every woman has an option of who she wants to be with. Okay. Nobody's ever desperate. Right. So if you're a woman and you feel like you have no options, you do. So let's get that out of the way first. But it's just like that whole thought process and just being able to know that you're not settling. That's the biggest thing. And I talk about alone versus lonely in my book. Don't let loneliness make you go into situations you shouldn't be in, because I can be alone and I am fine. I love traveling by myself. I love the peace because I'm constantly, everything I'm doing, even my job as a nurse, I'm always taking care of somebody's problem. Right. So for me to go to the beach in Mexico and be by myself for 2 days,
you're good with that.
I'm good with that because I'm gonna meet people there, first of all, but two, I'm totally fine. So you have to be able to figure out how to be okay with being alone and not letting those times of loneliness make you choose certain things, because that's loneliness is based off of emotion. Alone is based off of physical, situational. Yeah. So don't let those emotional things cause you to be in something you shouldn't be in.
Yeah, because a lot of y'all are in these situationships now. Y'all out here. So what do you think it takes to be a successful woman in today's society? Like, to balance all the things, because there may be women watching and they're like, oh, she's doing all these things and she has time to work out, like she has time to do all this stuff. How is she doing this stuff? That's what I'm saying. Like, how is she doing this stuff? They want to know. So I always ask people that, because it's like everybody has a different regimen, everybody has a different plan, but like, is there any advice you could offer?
So my philosophy in life, period, is you create the life that you want. And every day I get up, and that's why I wrote my second book, Day One, A Guide to Identifying, Organizing, and Executing Any Goal, because I picked up after my first book, I started getting into these new circles, and I started being exposed to different people that were at high performing levels. And I was like, holy crap, like I need to get it together. So when I wrote that book, I talk about proximity, daily habits. Who do you have in your circle? Who's pushing you to do better? And even if you don't have anyone, you are the person that you wake up next to every day. So as soon as I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is look at my calendar, see what I have to do, and I make a to-do list every morning. I'm in the bed. I'm like, now, of course, I'm gonna post a funny meme on Instagram, but social media, I'm not just like, because even if I'm on TikTok for like 5 minutes, my first thought after, I'm like, no, I just wasted 5 minutes on TikTok. I could have been doing something else.
Could have been making your own content.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I tell myself.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But it's our mindset. And I was at a conference one time, and the guy said, only you are standing in the way of you being great. And I really took that to heart. And so for me, it's like, there is no option but for me to succeed. Like, there is no other option. I'm going to make it happen. Yeah, like, it's just not. And the thing is that you hear all of these inspirational speakers talking, and they're like, when your job gives you a deadline at 5:00, you figure out how to make it work. Whenever your kids need to be at 2 different places at the same time, you figure out how to make it work. But when it comes to us and our lives and the things that we're passionate about, I don't need to go to the gym today. Oh, well, I guess I'll have to miss it. I can't do this.
I don't have time.
Yeah, I don't have time. And I get so many people, especially now with this book, because everyone's like, oh my God, I wanted to write a book. Can I talk to you? Or how can I write a book? First of all, then I'll reach out to them and I'm like, sure, let me know, whatever. They may not reach back out, or they'll like, and I'm like, I'm not going to get in your head and have you do it. I literally, I said June 1st, I want my books to be on all platforms by June 1st. And so it was like already the end of May, I was like right on time. And then the global distribution was holding me back because the ISBN number was wrong or whatever. But anyway, so it was a technical issue. It wasn't me. Put it down.
Yeah.
Hold yourself accountable and know that if you don't make it work, it ain't happening. And I think that's the problem. People think someone's going to save them.
Come on, a magic.
Yeah. And it's just like, you can't, life is not that way. No one's coming to save you. No one gives a crap about what you want to do. No one cares about your goals.
Yep.
So, and again, I was in a room one time with someone, and he said, be obnoxious with your goals.
Wow.
People will come around. And no one thought about, like 3 years ago, nobody could care less. I came up with a company, Strong Squad. They're like, oh, all right, yeah, I'll get a t-shirt, whatever. Oh, you wrote a book? Oh, okay. Now you see me on a billboard in Times Square, and you're like, wait a minute.
She's really her.
She's really doing something.
She's really doing it.
I was like, be obnoxious. They'll come around. Be in their face. Everyone else is obnoxious. Why are you not?
Yeah, I came up with a quote, and my husband's like, we need to put that on a shirt. And I'm like, consistency kills critics. Like, the more consistent you are, and they start to see your progress.
Right.
And now it's like, that's Holly. Oh, wow.
And people don't believe it too. Yeah. People don't believe in you until you are successful at whatever it is that you're doing.
Very true.
So that's the big thing. People always say, well, no one's supporting me. But if you don't believe in you, how do you expect me to? And I say that all the time, because people are like, oh my God, like, you grew a brand and you do this or whatever. And I want to do that. Okay, well, be obnoxious. Show me that you're putting in the work. Show me that you're doing. I don't have a problem networking and doing whatever, but I'm not going to just put you on. This is grind. This is me up till 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning every freaking night.
And taking risks.
And believing in myself, because I'm never going to walk in a room where anyone will ever make me not feel like I'm the best thing in the room. Because I don't look at anybody as competition. I look at everything as a relationship, a network. What box am I going to put you in? But I'm never going to be like, oh, oh God, whatever. I'm never negative about anything. I'm like, boo, what you doing? All right. I love that. You know what? I might implement that into me, but I'm never going to be like,
yes,
that's what we doing.
That's where women, I think we have to come together more, especially Black women. I'm just gonna put it out there, because we've been in rooms lately, and I'm like, okay, hi, how are you? What do you do? Like, what are you doing? And some people are, like, hey, and then you have some that are like, ooh, so I think we just need to be more receptive. We all can do, even if we're doing the same thing, we can all do it and still win, because you may be able to resonate with someone else that I can't, And so I think that's definitely important. Like, just owning who you are And just walking in who
that's
you
my
are.
hashtag. I always have.
Yeah.
My hashtag is whole team winning.
Yes.
So every time people always laugh, but once I hashtag it, then they're like, "Oh yeah, whole team." Like
Everybody.
once we network, once we're in the thing, I want you nothing. I want you to be more successful than me. I don't care who you are. Like there is no competition in me. That's part of me. If I gave you something and you took what I said and you're like, "Oh, you know what? Holly said that. Holy crap! I'm about to do such and such." And now you're doing whatever. Hey, that's part of the team. You put me, making me look good. Make sure you
just plug me. Just plug me, okay?
Inspirational creators, Holly Cotton.
No, seriously. So life coaching. So you nurse and a life coach. How'd you get into life coaching?
So I'm a cancer survivor, and so 10 years, 11 years this year. Wow, it's flying by. But
come on, guys.
So after you go through something traumatic like cancer, you go through a survival period. And some women or men, when they're going through something, they choose once you go overcome it, you may never want to talk about it again. You're like, that's a part of my past. I don't want to deal with it. I want to pretend like it never existed. And that's great, because that's how some people have to cope. So I went through that period at the beginning where I really didn't know I was in a toxic marriage. So I was like, this ain't it. And so, but then once I came out, a couple of years later, I was like, my doctor started giving my name to new cancer patients. So I had people, prostate cancer, breast cancer, like all kind of people started calling me, and I was almost like this cancer advocate. So they wanted to know, what are the steps, or how do you feel, or whatever, or when does it get better, or when can I stop being scared? And I was like, and so I was like, wow, this is something I guess I'm kind of good at, I'm good at it. And I tell people all the time, you're never going to feel better. You're never going to not be scared. Every year, I'm like, is this the year I'm going to get a big C again? Maybe I got brain cancer this year. I don't know. Is it coming back? Is it my armpit? My pinky toe? I don't know. You never know. The life of a cancer survivor is utilizing whatever life you have after cancer to be the best life you can have, because you never know what's going to happen to you. So now you have the wake-up call. Most people don't get a wake-up call. Think of it as, wow, I got a wake-up call, and now I'm not going to waste it at all ever again in life.
I'm on the gas. I love it.
So once I started doing that, I was like, okay. And anything that I do, I always want to make sure that I'm an expert at it. I have credentials by it. Maybe it's because I'm a nurse or whatever, but I just feel like I don't like people just throwing stuff out and, okay, well, I do this. Well, what's your credentials, or what's this? So for me, anything I do, I like to be credentialed in it. So that's why I went into where I wanted to actually be. If I'm giving people advice, I want people to know that I'm a life coach. If I'm doing something, I'm giving you medicine, know that I have a master's in nursing.
I'm not just passing out medicine.
I'm not a CNA, even though I'm a college professor, so I teach CNA and nursing also. But I'm just saying, like, anything that I do, I want to make sure I didn't want to just be going around, I'm doing fitness videos and I'm showing you what to do. I want to make sure that I'm a certified trainer. So whenever you're looking at my stuff, you see, oh, okay, so she's
actually doing this the right way.
I'm not going to help. I'm going to help you. I'm not going to, allow you to hurt yourself with bad form or whatever. So that's kind of like how I started. And then, I just started doing like speaking engagements, and I was like, oh wow, people want to hear what I have to say. Okay, well, hey, because I talk a lot. So.
I'm ready.
Let me give y'all some of this. So that's how that one came out.
I love that. And so college professor. So you're teaching nursing, or are you still at the hospital? Or?
No, girl, I don't teach people no more. So I've been in nursing administration for like the last 10 years. So, so my main job is I still am a practicing nurse. I am a nurse manager for a company. So that's my main job. And I know I always feel like I should quit, but I love it. I love what I do, and it gives me purpose. So everyone thinks that, you start doing this entrepreneur life and you want to leave the 9 to 5. But you know what? I like my 9 to 5. I like being a college professor. I like that I impact people, and people see me. And the other day someone was in Burlington and she was like, oh my God, Professor God. She comes running up to me. I'm like, hey, and she's like, oh my God, you were my best teacher I ever had. And so like for me, that gives me a purpose. So if I love doing something, why is there the push that I have to quit doing what I like just because?
And it's to each its own, right? Yeah. You don't have to. If you can balance both, do both.
That's
right?
What I'm saying. Like, I don't want to sit around all day doing nothing or just doing entrepreneur stuff or just doing whatever. I can fit it in. All of my careers are flexible. So why not?
And I'm glad you said that. And I'm glad she said it on this platform because
thank you.
People feel like they have to like dive into one thing. And it's like, you can do multiple things and still be great at multiple things. And she's displaying it. We've had multiple people displaying it. And so I want you guys to know, like, you can balance more than one thing. Like, you're good at more than one thing.
Right.
And that's okay. So empty nester. Are you an empty nester?
No, not yet. Not yet. Let me just add, I want to just piggyback on that. So some of the best advice that I got was from my friend. And so he actually was around when I was doing this transit, like going through this whole process. And I was like, but I've been a nurse forever. Like, I just don't. And he was like, first of all, being a nurse is what you do. It's not who you are.
Right.
Being a nurse is just a point on the giant spectrum of your life. And he was like, so everything you're doing is another point, is another point, is another point for the Holly universe. So don't look at, don't look at everything as this is it. Look at whatever your career, whatever your passion, whatever it is constantly leading to other things. And that's what I said when I did the commencement speech a few weeks ago. That's what I told them. I was like, I'm a nurse, but my passion is helping people. So find things that align with your passion. So for me, being a nurse wasn't just about, I didn't know it at the time. I just thought, I'm gonna be a nurse. It's a trade. It's a good thing. But then I started realizing once a nurse wasn't who I am, it was what I did, that all these other doors open. So my advice is, don't think of what you're doing as that's who you are. That's all you're capable of. You are capable of so many other things. You just have to realize what are the other points. And then you have to, like I said, manifestation without action is pointless.
Yeah.
You have to have action on those thoughts. I sat up here, I was like, I'm going to have a billboard in Times Square. I'm going to have a billboard in Times Square. Since last summer when we went, I was like, I'm going to have a billboard in Times Square. And then I was like, but what am I going to put on the billboard?
Right.
You can get a billboard. What you going to do? Put your Instagram thing on there or whatever. What are you, why, what impact are you making? Why should I support you? What are you selling? And I was like, I want to make sure when I'm on a billboard, it's worth it. When they put me on a billboard, it's because I have a product or I have something. And so that was my actions. Now, what am I doing? Okay, with this and my book, whatever. So whatever your action is, you can't just sit around and manifest, I'm going to have a 6-pack by my birthday.
Come on.
What's your action?
Without going to the gym or getting out that bed.
Or doing sacrificing. So anyway, so that's all. I just wanted to reiterate that your life is whatever universe it is that you are, and everything you do is a point. Now, if you only got one point, who you gonna blame?
Right. And so how do you think people find their creativity? Like tap into more than one thing? Because I feel like people waste a lot of time. So we're wasting time watching TV, we're out, we're doing this and that. Do you think it takes a level of sacrifice?
Oh, for sure. Level of sacrifice. And also, I just had someone on my show and she said the push, oh my God, the push of pain for the pull of pain, push of possibilities. I don't know if it's push or pull, but anyway, the point is that pain shows you possibilities. So sometimes you, so I rephrase it because this is my quote. I always say, nothing motivates you like hurt feelings. So sometimes hurt feelings, you have to hurt your own feelings. So sometimes, it may not be someone else that's pushing you, that's saying, hey, you need to do this. Sometimes you need to look in the mirror and be like, oh my God, look how I let myself
get your shit together.
Yeah. Or you're like, why don't I have money in savings? Or why can't I take a trip? Or why are they doing that? That should be your hurt feelings right there. So you're like, you know what? Let me hurt my own feelings for a second and get my life together.
Yeah.
So I think for me, again, my passion is helping other people. I will tell you this, and I want to make sure I
make this point.
I'm going to put it out there. So if you guys don't follow Jason Lobdell, Mr. 2 Weeks Out on Instagram, I always attribute my tangent that I'm on now to Jason, because I literally, it was 2020, and I don't even know if I was following him, or maybe I had just followed him, but he was doing a live, because of course it's COVID, everybody's just doing live. So it was the end of the year, it was 2020. And so his live was, he talked about something being a thing. And so he was like, focus on you until the focus is on you. And I was just like, and I quote him all the time for that, because I'm like, God, you know what? That's what I need to do. So that was, for me, that was like a hurt feeling moment for me, because I was like, wow, I'm really not doing nothing, and I need to get it together. So
yeah. Sometimes we have those epiphany moments, like, and it's crazy because we have to hear it from people we don't know, or people we're watching, and we're like, you know what, they're right. We're watching them create this success in their lives, and they're thriving, and you're sitting here watching them, and you could be watching us right now and saying, I want to do that. I want to do this. Do it. Like, just do it. Like she said, you have to take action. You can get all the knowledge and manifest all the things, but if you aren't taking action, it's never going to come to pass.
And the thing is too, and the other thing that I learned from him is he would always talk when he was doing, because I mean, he went, like, they're huge now, he and his wife, but and so he said you have to be around people that show you that a thing is a thing. So a lot of times we don't know a thing is a thing until you see someone else doing it, because you're around people that are the same as you. So I can't be around a bunch of pigeons. I need to figure out how that eagle got up there.
Come on.
So when you change your mindset and you're like, wait a minute, so entrepreneur is a thing? Oh, wait, so building a brand is a thing?
It's a thing.
So wait, I could write a book. I could be an author and this. So when you know something is a thing, now it's like, wait a minute. Okay, so
it becomes tangible.
Yeah, but you have to be around people, or you have to do stuff instead of looking at twerking videos every day, or doing one margarita, which is great. Y'all have fun or whatever. Right. But that same time where you are watching that kind of stuff, you could be watching other people that are doing successful things. Because that's what I want to do. At nighttime, the last thing that I do before is I want something positive. So I may read something, I might look at a quote, I might do something, but I want my last thing of the night to always be something positive.
Right.
And then when I wake up in the morning, I'm already, like I said, organized. What am I doing for today? What are we accomplishing today?
Yeah,
so easy if you get it together.
Yeah, and it becomes for real. It becomes a routine, though. It becomes when you get yourself in a daily habit routine, it just becomes easy for you. I read this book called The 5 a.m. Club. I love that book because that book really teaches you about getting up early and just getting stuff done, and then you have the rest of your day to do what you got to do.
But I'm never gonna be in 5 o'clock club. I'm the 7 a.m. club, but boy, for them 15 hours from 7 to 11, I'm rolling.
You're grinding. But see, you don't have to grind all day, though. I think that's the part that people miss. Like, when we say we're hustling or we say we're doing this and that, it's not like I'm going 12 hours straight and I'm going to stop with no water, no drink, like nothing. I'm chilling. No, like, that
3 hour vlog, a 2 hour vlog.
I'm putting in work during these periods of time.
Uninterrupted. That's the key to it.
Not scrolling on your phone.
Yes, because you zone out. And I have a girlfriend. I was telling her about that too. Because she's like, oh God, I feel so overwhelmed. First of all, your friend has a best-selling book called Day One, like how to organize your goals. And I'm like, I said, if you read your friend's book, you would know. And so I told her, I said, look at your daily habits. And she's all over the place. She's doing this, she's doing that, she's ripping and running, and like she has no structure in her day. So I said, of course, you're going to have an unproductive day. And I told her, I said, every morning I eat the same thing. I get up in the morning, I eat a protein waffle and protein waffle with almond butter and blueberries and 2 strips of turkey bacon. And so she was like, oh my God, I would hate that. She's like, I get so bored with it. I said, yes. I said, but if you look at all the successful people, look at Facebook, look at Tesla, look at, I won't say all the names, but look at all of those people that are successful. Apple, Apple founder, what do they say? They wear the same things every day. They do the same things every day, because what happens is you spend so much of your imagination and your imaginative and your creative side, worrying about what I'm going to eat today, what I'm going to wear today, what I'm going to do. And you spend so much time doing that you could have been doing something creative or productive, or
very true,
whatever it is that you need to do where you're not sinking.
Right.
But so for me, I already know I'm gonna have the same thing. Do my to-do list, do what I got to do, go straight, do whatever. I might get on my bike. I'm eating the same thing for breakfast. And now that gives me all of this thought process of what are the creative things that I can do. So
tapping into your creative mind is like one of the best things I could have ever done.
Yeah.
I think because I grew up to where, it's like, go to school, do this, do that. So you always have this plan, but it's like, you need time to think.
Mentality.
The old school mentality of just get a job and work until you die, right? Don't do anything else.
Thank God you changed that mentality. Right? You still fine and got time.
Right? I'm like, this ain't it.
Right.
Like, you want to travel, you want to do things. And so I think opening your mind to different things just allows you to create those moments and to create things like this. I mean, God, she's balancing a lot. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard all the credentials here.
Like a lot till other people say it's
until
a lot.
She says it out loud, and then it's like, well, I am kind of doing a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Gray hairs right here.
She's doing a great job at it, y'all. She looks good. She looks great. She's doing a great job. I wanted to get into you. Are you an empty nester? You still have kids at home?
Yes. So no, I do have my daughter is still at home.
Okay, how old is your daughter?
18.
Oh, she's 18. She's doing her own thing. You
well,
like an empty nester.
So yes and no. So so I literally, my son is 23 and my daughter's 18, and so my son literally just moved out when we sold our house. So I ain't been an empty nester.
She's like, no, until they leave, I'm not an empty nester.
No, I'm not.
No,
because I still feel like I have to take care of them. And here and for,
you do,
and for me, I love being a mom because. For me, and you'll see any of my posts, I always say the only job I care about is being a mom. Like all of these, I did an appreciation post for my daughter last night because you can have all this. That's why you have so many successful people, like the dancer guy. You kill yourself. All these people are hanging themselves, overdosing, doing this because you can have all the money in the world and you feel lonely. You don't have that support circle. That's what's important to me. Yeah. So I don't care about all this other stuff. It's great. This is like in Louisiana, we call that lagniappe. That's just extra. Like I love all the lagniappe that comes with it. And the kids, but for me, the actual being able to show my kids, hey, you're never too old to do something. Hey, whatever mom says I'm gonna do. My kids, I could be like right now, you know what? I think I'm gonna be a pilot. My kids won't blink. They will know that I will do it.
Oh wow! I love
to leave that with them to know that they can do
anything. That's so powerful.
Yes, we were literally in Times Square, and I brought him, and I was like, I looked around, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna get on one of these billboards. I was like, watch, I'm gonna come to Times Square, I'm gonna be on the billboard. They didn't doubt for a second. And whenever I finally had my moment, they were all like, we never doubted it. We knew you. Wow. We were just waiting on you to get it done.
That's amazing. And that's something amazing that you've left with them. Like the ability to know, like, hey, I can do anything. My mom did it. I can do it. I love that. That's something that y'all all should take away. I see kids, because I'm a counselor too, and I see kids and they're like telling me all this stuff. Well, my mom wants me to be, or my dad. I'm like, well, what do you want to be?
Right.
Like, those are the things. And so I think that really fosters that, like, you can do anything you want to do. What do you want to do? Right. I love that.
And I'll bring it back to them because they don't want to be like me. My daughter's like, I don't want to do what you do. And I'm like, I don't give a crap what you do. Just make sure you're great at whatever it is that you choose to do.
And that's what's most important. And that's what's most important. So how's your relationship now with their dad? Like, how are y'all navigating that? 17 years, y'all are like friends though.
No. I just,
hey boy,
I have a meme in my phone that's so funny. I want to post it, and it said, why is my biggest op my baby daddy?
Oh my gosh.
No.
Was he hating? He's a hater.
No.
Don't be a hater.
So, I'll be totally honest because I don't like to ever talk about any negative concept. So again, he adapted to life with me as well. And so I believe the version that I got of him was his way of adapting to living in the relationship that we had. And so he's not the greatest dad. And I think an issue was that, you know, he struggled with being a dad separate from being in a relationship and being the partner. And a lot of people struggle with that too. Once you don't have the family, you don't know how to, like, for me, I was like, there is, just because we're not together, I still have to be a mom. And he didn't understand that he still had to be a dad, even though we weren't a unit anymore. And he had difficulty with navigating that. So, you know, that left a lot of resentment on me that I was left to do everything by myself as a single mom, and you became, instead of a single dad, an absent dad. So I had a lot of resentment towards him for that. And, you know, and then he blamed me that he wasn't.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's usually what happens. It's like, well, if you would have stayed, or if we would have worked it out, it would have been fine.
That was his thing. It was always like, well, you wanted to be a single mom. This is what I was like, okay, first of all, a single mom and a single dad, not a single mom and an absent dad.
Right.
Totally different.
Because co-parenting exists.
Yes.
You can do it.
Yes.
So I really hate that, but a lot of guys struggle with that.
They do.
It's like they don't want to budge. You know, they're like, no, I want it this way. And then it affects the kids in the long run.
I know. And I think it's also hard for him to see me being successful. Like he'll say, he'll say that, like, you know, oh, well, Holly, you know, I'm happy for you. I wish you the best, or you deserve the success or whatever. And maybe at his healing phase now he does. But I think it was hard for him too, because he, like, I guess he thought of it as like a competition, and I was always, you know, whatever. And I'm like, listen, it's not a competition, but
it's not. I'm just being who I was always designed to be.
You oppressed me for 17 years.
Yeah, and now you're watching this come up. And it's okay. It's okay. It's
you lost.
And it happens. And it's like, don't be a hater.
Right.
It's okay.
Because I know your friends are like, that was your baby mama?
Do you see her? They don't want to bring it up.
He fumbled big time.
He can't recover, y'all.
Right.
I was like, how you gonna come back from that?
You can't. Yeah. That's why whoever comes after me, I'm just like, girl.
Right.
No competition. Like, good luck with y'all. Like,
have fun. Yeah. You can have them.
Right.
Been there. So moving on to we're gonna talk a little bit about what's next for you.
Oh, okay. That's so funny because everyone keeps asking me that.
Oh, really?
So every December 31st, I make a to-do list, and I make short-term goals and long-term goals. And so it was so crazy because last year, 2022, I have goals and dreams. Mm-hmm. So my long-term goals, those are dreams, but they're not really, because I'm going to get it. It just might take a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So short-term goals, dreams, long-term. And so I was like, I got to the middle of last year, and I had already done like half of my dream column. And I was like, okay. So then that's what my friend, he was like, right, because you shooting too low. He was like, get it up. So I was like, you know what? So next year, so I just came up with, okay, Billboard in Times Square, finish my 3rd book. And he was fussing at me again. He was like, look, you're already in June and you already did everything. Bigger. Because you just feel like sometimes it's so scary, but that's the good thing. That's when you know that a dream is where you're supposed to be, because it should scare you. So I have some things I'm working. I definitely, because I have my own podcast show. That's the other thing too.
Yes, and I'll have all her links below, guys, so y'all can go and check her out. She's amazing.
Thank you. So I have that. So I would love to have. I went to the Sherry Shepherd show a few. Was it weeks ago? Maybe like 2 months ago or something like that. They invited me out, so I went as a VIP guest, and that was like a whole experience. And I was just like, I'm gonna be on that show. I need a Holly Cotton show or the HC show. I don't know. Call it what you want, but I need my own show. So that would be my ideal. I love that. So that's my thing. I used to joke a few years ago, and I was like, I would say, when you guys see me with Obama in the vineyard, don't say anything. You already know.
Right.
And even when I saw Girls Trip, I told my friends, and now I hadn't done anything when I saw Girls Trip. And I told my friends, I said, watch, y'all are going to see me at Essence. And guess where I am this year? At Essence, as a speaker, as a panelist,
she's been on my podcast.
As an influencer. And I'm like, wow, like I didn't even know, but that just shows how when you say things, only speak positive things in your head, because your brain absorbs those things and you may not even, subconsciously know that you're speaking that into your life.
And the blessings will just come like this. I'm experiencing that right now and I'm just like, hold on, wait. I said I wanted this. Oh my God, hold on. But I'm like, okay, I'm just rolling with it. So no, I definitely can resonate with you on that one. Because I just started this year. So I'm like,
yes.
Oh my God, it's coming so fast.
And that's how it is. It's like it'll just open, and then now you're networking and networking and networking. That's what I said. When you have those vibes and that energy, you are only pulling positive stuff. Like you can, even if you come to me negative, I won't even absorb it. I'm so happy and positive.
It literally does this.
It does.
Yeah.
Like it's like pew, 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 pew.
Yeah, because that's something internal. That's what people don't realize. Like, you think you're hurting me or you're saying something to me, but that's something that you're dealing with.
Yeah, I don't even hear it. Like, and it's hard because, sometimes people will like comment on my posts or they'll say certain things, and, old unhealed Holly will like initially want to fight you. But then new healing Holly is like, delete.
Right.
Delete.
It's not even worth the time or the energy.
And I will tell you this. My friend told me, January 1st of this year, I had a powwow. I had a talk with him and I was like, oh my gosh, like I was like, what do I do? And he's, he's very elevated in life. And so I was like, what do I do? Cause this is my year. And he was like, this is your year. Like, I know this is your year. And he was like, don't say no to nothing within reason.
Right.
And I was like, see that. And when I tell you, I took that advice this year and it opened up so many doors, because things where I was like, you know what? All right, let me see what's going on.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me see.
Yep.
And don't say no to nothing. You'll see that you will go into rooms. You'll be stuff. You got people. I have people knowing my name that I've been.
You're like, oh, wait, how do you know me?
Right. Yeah. And I've been idolizing you, but you know my name. So I'm like, shit, I'm doing something right.
Yeah, no, you're doing it. Yeah, she's doing it. She's doing it. I love it. I love that you're embracing it. And everybody needs friends like your friends. That one friend that's like, girl, go bigger. Or he's saying, I love that. You need those people in your corner. So if you need to change your circle, guys, change your circle. It's okay. You're going to, as you elevate too, you're going to see people kind of slowly. And then whoever's for you, they're going to stay. They're going to stay.
Not everybody's meant
not everybody.
To the end.
Not everybody. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day and coming on my podcast. I'm super excited to watch the rest of your journey. And guys, make sure y'all go over and follow her. You want to give them your Instagram?
Sure. I'm super simple. Everything is very easy. So Instagram, Holly, HOLLYCOTTON_. TikTok, same thing, HOLLYCOTTON_. My website is super easy, www.hollycotton.com. LinkedIn, Holly Cotton. I have a name that you can remember.
Yes.
And that's why when I introduce myself, I always say first name, last name, because there's so many people with your first name. I want people to know when you hear Holly Cotton. Oh, Holly Cotton, I know her. Yeah,
because there's a ton of Hollies, a ton of Courtneys.
Exactly. So you got to go. I go first name, last name.
Yeah, no, that for real. And I say mine with 2 T's, my last name, because that's easy to remember.
Yes.
I'll have her IG on the screen. The editor will have it on the screen for you guys, so y'all can go and follow her. This episode will also be up on her podcast. You guys can go check it out on either platform. Make sure y'all are following and just share, guys. Share the word, spread the word. Is there a last word you want to leave with the people?
So many things, but I'll just say this: in my email signature, I have my name, and then I have a quote that says, "Life is short, live it." So make sure you are living the life that you deserve, because only you can create it. So
I love it. And on that note, we're going to end, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Well, guys, that concludes our episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Allow Yourself Grace podcast. For additional information about today's episode, please click the link in the show notes below. To learn more about our Grace Girls community and other resources we have to offer, head over to www.allowyourselfgrace.com. Until next time, Grace Girls, I love you all. Be blessed and continue to strive for success.